Welcome, football fans, to another episode here of Tim Reynolds Show's live Week 7 preview and predictions for the 2025 NFL season right here on one of the most electrifying sports entertainment channels on YouTube today. This is Tim Reynolds Show. Now, let's go. Let's make sure everything's working here first, guys, before we get started with these Week 7 matchups. And, guys, we're starting to see the contenders separate themselves from the pretenders here early on in the season. So, guys, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. All right, looks like we've got everything working here okay. I'm pretty sure we're doing good. All right. Check 2. Sure. All right, that looks like we're doing good. Thank you guys so much for hanging out here, guys. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to make a quick poll question for everybody. All right, so which match? Forget that. We'll just go ahead and I'll pin a question here for you guys. All right. My question for you guys here is, which matchup are you looking forward to the most in Week 7 of the 2025 NFL season? What's up, Abby? All right, there we go, guys. Let's get that question pinned here in the chat. Give you guys a little something to chit chat about. Appreciate y'all hanging out on Tim Reynolds Show. All right, guys, so let's get things started here. We've got a bunch of exciting matchups here to look forward to in Week 7. And first, we got to start off with the Thursday night football matchup, where we will see the 4-1 Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 2-0 on the road, travel to take on the 2-4 Cincinnati Bengals. And in this matchup, we'll see the battle of two 40-year-old quarterbacks, as we'll see the 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers face off against the 40-year-old Joe Flacco, who will be making his second start here with the Cincinnati Bengals in this Thursday night football matchup. We do see in this one that the Pittsburgh Steelers open as a 4.5-point favorite in this one. I've seen this number go to about 5.5 to 6.5 on a couple of other sites, but 4.5 seems to be the number here in this one. As we look at the key injuries here with these two teams, we will see the Pittsburgh Steelers without Miles Killebrew, one of their top safeties, and also Calvin Austin, the kind of speedy wide receiver, will be out of this game. And a bunch of questionable injuries for the Bengals, including Trey Hendrickson, who's questionable to play with this one with a hip injury, and Lucas Patrick, the offensive guard, is also questionable with this one. But the Bengals will be without two of their top tight ends, and Tanner Hudson and Mike Gesicki in this one. They're both out with injuries. And guys, looking at this matchup, the Cincinnati Bengals really competed well against the Green Bay Packers last week, so I'm expecting them to do the same thing in this one. And how will the Pittsburgh Steelers defense respond? They started the season on a downward spiral and have now really stepped things up over the last 2 weeks with how they've played on defense. But Pittsburgh has to run the football. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is playing really, really good right now, but if they can't get the run going, I think Pittsburgh is going to struggle in this game, which is why I do like the spread as far as picking Cincinnati in this one. But guys, I just have a tough time picking against this Pittsburgh Steelers offense going up against that really, really bad Cincinnati Bengals defense. So because of that, Tim Reynolds Show's prediction in this one, I've got to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys, in this one. Look out for Kenneth Gainwell, who's been kind of a big playmaker in this offense thus far, but I am looking for Jamar Chase to have a big game in this one to keep it close with Cincinnati. But I think Aaron Rodgers and that offense is going to be able to get the job done, and I trust that defense for Pittsburgh a little bit more than I trust the defense for Cincinnati. Cincinnati in this one. That's why Tim Reynolds Show is rolling with the Pittsburgh Steelers there on that Thursday night football matchup. What's up, guys? Thanks for hanging out in the chat. Let's get caught up here. Hope you guys are doing well. We got Abby and Kevin and CJ. What's going on, man? Hope you guys are doing well, man. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. Booyah, there we go. All right. So now, guys, our next matchup that will start off our Sunday slate here in Week 7 of the 2025 NFL season. We got the Los Angeles Rams traveling across the pond over there in London as they'll take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both of these teams come into this matchup 4-2 as we see the Los Angeles Rams come in as a 2.5-point favorite here in this one. And, guys, they will be without wide receiver Puka Nacua, who's expected to miss this game with an ankle injury that he suffered last week. He's still listed as questionable, but all reports could have the top wide out there for the Rams sit this one out, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. And also, Kobe Parkinson, the tight end, is also questionable to play this one, and backup running back Blake Corum. And as far as the Jacksonville Jaguars, Dami Brown, the wide receiver, is questionable with this one with a shoulder injury, and Eric Murray, the safety, is also questionable with a neck injury, but they will be without linebacker Devin Lloyd, their big playmaker on defense. He's dealing with the calf injury, and he's already been ruled out of this matchup. And as I look at this matchup, guys, I think it's going to come down to what can this Jacksonville Jaguars defense do against this really, really good Rams offense. With them not having Puka Nacua or having Puka Nacua at full strength, this could mean that there could be some, I guess, tinks in the armor, if you will, kinks in the armor for this Jacksonville Jaguars defense to be able to exploit. But I'm really worried about them not having Devin Lloyd out there. This guy has been a big playmaker for them this season, and most certainly he's going to be missed on that side of the ball. But I really do think the Jacksonville Jaguars offense has not really shown their full potential this season, even though Travis Etienne is running the ball really well. I'm not liking what I'm seeing out of Trevor Lawrence thus far early in the year. I think he's really got to start getting better play calls and throwing the ball a little bit more accurate throughout these games throughout the rest of the season if he really wants to improve. And honestly, guys, this is a pretty even matchup through both of these teams. The Rams have a really good, tough defense as well. So for me, I really think the only thing that I'm missing in this one, I think I got to go with Matthew Stafford over Trevor Lawrence in this matchup. I think the quarterback play is really going to determine who wins this game because I think both defenses are really good. So maybe expect a low-scoring game in this one, but Tim Reynolds Show is rolling with the Los Angeles Rams here in this one. I wanted so badly to pick the upset, to give it to the Jaguars here. They're really good in the London games over there across the pond, but honestly, without Devin Lloyd, I think that's really going to hurt that Jacksonville Jaguars defense. And then up next here, guys, we got the Miami Dolphins traveling to take on the Cleveland Browns. And guys, Cleveland opens up as a 2.5-point favorite here in this one. But after the comments we heard this week with all the drama coming from Miami, I'm not sure who to really take in this one, right, guys? As we look over the injury reports here for both teams. Tight end Darren Waller still dealing with that hip injury. He's questionable to play. And also Terrell Dotson, who's one of the top tacklers in the NFL, is also questionable with a concussion here in this one. Also, offensive guard Aaron Brewer is also questionable for the Dolphins. And looking at Jerry Jeudy is questionable with a knee injury here for the Cleveland Browns, along with tight end David Njoku. So we could see two of the top offensive playmakers for Cleveland be out of this game on this upcoming week, so we'll have to pay attention to that on the injury report. Also seeing Mike Hall Jr. is also questionable for that Cleveland Browns defense. So heading into this one, guys, I really got to wonder if Cleveland can run the football and stop making Dylan Gabriel have to throw over 50 times a game. They might have a chance to win a football game with the way their defense plays, but they're going up against the Miami Dolphins offense that I think is just starting to catch fire here with the way Tua's been able to play. As long as he cuts it down on the turnovers here and they keep feeding the ball to Achane and Waddle, I really do think this offense could be able to score some points against Cleveland here. But can I trust this Miami Dolphins defense to really get a stop against this young quarterback here for Cleveland? Well, with all these playmakers supposedly might be questionable or out of this game with injuries here for Cleveland, I think this is going to play a big part because if David Njoku and Jerry Jeudy are not in this game, I don't really see a lot of other playmakers in this offense. And I'm not expecting Quinshon Judkins to have 150 or 200 rushing yards in this one for them to really dominate the ground game, which is what Cleveland would have to do in order to win this game. So for me, I got to go with the Miami Dolphins here on Tim Reynolds Show because I think Tua is looking to get his reputation back as a good quarterback with the bad choice of words and the comments he made throughout this week. He did apologize for those, but you have got to see this team win because they need some camaraderie right down there, down in Miami. And I tell you what, it's going to be a tough flight home if they're not able to get the victory against Cleveland in this one. So for Tim Reynolds Show, guys, I got to roll with the Miami Dolphins there in that matchup against Cleveland in Week 7 of the 2025 NFL season. So that's my pick there on Tim Reynolds Show. What's up, chat? How we doing? We got Jacqueline, a Steelers fan in here. What's going on? We got Abby saying go Birds. Hell yeah. Fishing with Ryan says go Eagles. We got Cage as well. I'm a 4-star recruit. Should I commit out of Georgia? Where should I commit football? Cage, wow, well, congratulations on being a 4-star recruit, man. I mean, if you ask me, I guess it depends on where you want to go. If you want to stay close to home, University of Georgia or Georgia Tech is probably a really great option for you. Maybe not too far from home, might be a Florida school if you're interested. Maybe even Alabama or Tennessee. I mean, the University of Auburn and Alabama, those are great universities to go play football at. If you're interested in Florida, the state where I'm from, I love the Gators, the Knowles, the Seminoles could use as many good recruits as they can get. And USF is really hot right now, and so is Miami. So maybe a couple of choices there if you're trying to stay local in that Georgia era. But hey, big shout out to Cage Muller in the chat with that 4-star recruit rating. Appreciate you, man. We got E-Bean that says, go Bears. Hell yeah. And then Peak says, what's up? Baker is him. Hell yeah. I love that dude. Jacqueline again, what's going on? Good luck to your Steelers here tonight. And Peak's from Oklahoma. Hell yeah, dude. Options on Oklahoma or North Carolina. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of North Carolina this year, man. They got a lot of stuff they need to get together. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you, guys. Tyson Johnson in the chat. What's going on, man? And then we got Mummy. Do you have Pittsburgh tonight? Yeah, I'm rolling with the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight, guys. That is for sure. But I expect the Bengals to keep it close. So what's going on, William? Appreciate you, dude. Shout out to William in the chat, everybody. Tim Reynolds Show watching TV Monday night. NFL games with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Detroit Lions on TV, ABC, 7 p.m. Let's go, William. Appreciate you, bro. You're almost here on every live stream, man. Big shout out to you. Kim John, what's going on, man? Tua never had a reputation of a good QB. What do you mean? Well, I mean, he led the league in passing yards just a couple of seasons ago and then got a huge contract extension with over $50 million plus a year or close to it. So, I mean, I'm sorry, Kim John, man, but honestly, like, someone thought he was a good quarterback. That's why he got paid as one. I mean, if you weren't a good quarterback, you're not going to get paid. I mean, that's the way it goes. I'm getting my tickets for Pittsburgh and Ravens. Ooh, that's going to be a good game right there. Abby, what's going on, man? Appreciate you. And James, where you going? You picking Bama or Tennessee? James asking some college football questions up in here. That's going to be a tough one, man, but I think I might have to roll with Alabama. I think they're going to be the tougher team in that one. I'm not so sure about Tennessee right now, to be honest with you guys. So, all right, let's move on, guys. Like I said, I'm rolling with the Miami Dolphins to get the upset victory over the Cleveland Browns on the road. I really do think Miami's just looking for a big bounce back game here in this one against Cleveland. All right, guys, and coming up next, we got the New Orleans Saints taking on the Chicago Bears. Chicago opens up as a 4.5-point favorite here in this one. Spencer Rattler looking to get his second win as the starting quarterback there for New Orleans. I'm kind of shocked that we haven't seen the rookie quarterback Tyler Shuck, which means, in my opinion, that maybe he hasn't flashed enough in training camp or early on in the season for them to sort of turn the reins over to this young rookie QB thus far, especially with the 1-5 record. You would have thought you would have seen the rookie QB come in just on, the record alone, but they're still trying to see what they got in Spencer Rattler here for the Saints offense. And you got to wonder, too, is Alvin Kamara's days numbered as a New Orleans Saint? I'm not sure, but he's going to be a hot target during the trade deadline this upcoming few weeks here in the NFL season. Looking at the injury report for the Saints, Alvin Kamara is questionable with an ankle injury, and so is Isaiah Yadom with a hamstring injury, the cornerback there, and also Ashante Taylor is also questionable with a knee injury in that secondary. DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift, two offensive playmakers there, are also questionable here with this one, and look out for possibly Jake Moody to be the starting kicker once again for the Chicago Bears this upcoming week after an incredible performance by him, hitting 5 kicks, or I should say 4 kicks, including the game field goal there for Chicago. So he could be elevated as well. And when I'm looking at this matchup here, guys, I think the New Orleans Saints might have a really good chance at getting the upset victory here. We look at Chicago coming in as a 4.5-point favorite. I kind of like those odds, to be honest with you. I think the Saints are going to keep this one close. Chicago's been on a winning streak here after losing their first 2 to start the season. They've won 3 straight, but they've kind of been at the skin of their teeth there. I mean, they're the first NFL team since the merger in NFL history to have 2 one-point wins with the same score, 25-24. They got the win over Las Vegas the week before, and now this week over a tough Commanders team. I was kind of shocked to see all the mistakes from the Commanders. So in this one, guys, Tim Reynolds Show is going to go with the upset. That's right, guys. They're only giving the Saints a 6% chance to win this game, and when you look at the matchup predictor, it's only a 34% chance. But you know what? I think this Saints team are going to look to get a win on the road here, and I think they may be able to do it there in Chicago. So I'm rolling with the Saints in this one, guys. I don't really know why. I just kind of have a gut feeling. I think the Saints are going to want to show up there in that one, and maybe Chicago with those injuries on offense could struggle a little bit here in this one. What's going on, guys? Wow, we got some football questions here. Hey guys, listen, if you do have any football questions, please hit me up with the super chat so they'll stand out a little bit more so I can get those questions answered for you guys, man. Is that a Michael Vick jersey? No, this is actually Fournette from the Super Bowl champion Tampa Buccaneers. I love it too because it's number 7, also for like Bucky Irvin on the Bucks as well. So hell yeah. Like I said, guys, please let me know if you have any football questions. Hit me up with those super chats so I can get to those and answer those questions real quick there for you guys. Shout out James and also Jack Queen here in the chat. And then we also got Joe. Joe looks like he's asking a fantasy football question. It's a lot to go over there, Joe. I'll try to see if I can get back to that here by the time we get done here with this NFL Week 7 preview and predictions here on Tim Reynolds Show. Please make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. So up next, guys, after we predicted an upset here with the Saints beating the Chicago Bears, that's my pick there for that one. Guys, I see the New England Patriots. They're traveling to take on the Tennessee Titans in this one, and this one's a Mike Vrabel revenge game for the new Patriots head coach. And guys, Tennessee just fired their head coach. So coming into this one, like, can we really give Tennessee any chance whatsoever against this New England Patriots team that has been hot, especially on the road? They're 3-0 this season away from home. I think Drake May is playing some of the best football of his career. He's putting up numbers that we haven't seen in New England on their offense since Tom Brady was there. So we're starting to see New England start to become a contender once again under the first year of head coach Mike Vrabel, and Tennessee's probably pretty upset that they let this guy go after he took them to the AFC Championship game just a few years back. What a tough road it's been for Tennessee, a downward spiral, if you will, and now 1-5 on the season. New England comes in as a 6.5-point favorite, and guys, for me, I gotta go with New England here. Stephon Diggs has had a stellar year thus far with 32 catches for 387 yards. He's going to look to improve on that, but the play of quarterback Drake May and the way this defense has really stepped up for New England over the last few weeks, I got to roll with the Patriots, man, in this one. And then up next, guys, we got the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, and wow, Kansas City opens up as a 12.5-point favorite against the Raiders. Woo! I'm not sure if I would take that many points, ladies and gentlemen. But we see here on the injury report for the Las Vegas Raiders, they are probably going to be without their top target on offense with tight end Brock Bowers, questionable with a knee injury that's cost him the last 2 games in a row. Jacoby Myers, their top wide receiver, also is questionable with a knee injury. So something to look out for here for the Raiders offense. Also for the Chiefs offense, offensive tackle Josh Simmons, the rookie, is questionable in this matchup here. So something to keep an eye on there for the Chiefs. And when I'm looking at this matchup, guys, if the Raiders don't turn the football over and they're able to run the football, control that play clock a little bit, and the defense can sack Patrick Mahomes like we know Max Crosby can do at times when they face the Chiefs, then that's what's going to give the Raiders a chance in this one. But honestly, this Chiefs offense is starting to get hot, and now they're going to get wide receiver Rashid Rice back from his 6-game suspension. This is a bad recipe for success for the Las Vegas Raiders, but it's a great one for this Chiefs offense that's really starting to get things going. Patrick Mahomes is balling out over the last couple of games, even though they're 1-1 in those games. But after the performance I seen from them last week against Detroit, I gotta roll with the Kansas City Chiefs here on this one. They're too much of a big favorite. I might take the Raiders with the points. Maybe they keep it within 2 scores, but I'm not betting on it. That's for sure, guys. I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs here in this one, and I think the run game is going to be what's key here for the Chiefs to get the victory in this one and their defense. And then up next, guys, we got the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to take on the Minnesota Vikings. This is an interesting matchup as we see Philly's only a 1.5-point favorite. I would have thought that spread would be a little bit more favored in Philly's direction, but honestly, they've struggled over the last 2 weeks, and this offense has not been able to run the football efficiently like they would have liked. As we see, Saquon Barkley's had 95 carries, but only 325 yards and only 3 rushing touchdowns this season. Now, he's been worked in the passing game a little bit more, as we see Jalen Hurts has been very efficient with the football, 8 touchdown passes to only 1 interception, but they've got to be able to run the ball on their offense in order for their offense to be exactly the way they want it to be with that dual threat type of offense. And also the defense has got to get a little bit healthier because the secondary is getting beat up, and they're definitely taking advantage of it. Other teams are with deep balls down the field to try to really score on this defense as much as possible because they're tough up front, Philadelphia. But guess what? The Vikings defense is one of the toughest in the league, guys. I cannot believe how great this Vikings team has been able to play, especially with the absence of their young quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. Carson Wentz has took over and done a pretty good job. 5 touchdown passes to only 2 interceptions, although he does have a couple of fumbles as well. But we see, looking at the injuries here, there are a lot of questionable injuries for the Philadelphia Eagles, including Landon Dickerson. An ankle injury has him questionable for this one, and also Quentin Mitchell with a hamstring injury is also questionable for this one. So that offensive line could be hampered, and so could that secondary. And these are 2 strong positions for this team. So we'll have to see how those impact them. We already know that it's really impacted them over the last couple of weeks, especially last week with both of these guys missing that game in Landon Dickerson and Quentin Mitchell. And for the Minnesota Vikings, Andrew Van Ginkel is questionable with a neck injury. Hope he's okay with that. J.J. McCarthy, the young quarterback, is starting to practice, but he's still questionable with that ankle injury as well. So we'll have to see how that goes there for Minnesota heading into this matchup. But guys, for me, I'm expecting Philadelphia to get back to that ground and pound offense and start doing a lot better on defense, on being able to stop the deep balls and shut down offenses' running games, which is what they've been good at. Now, they haven't been really great at sacking the quarterback this year, but they've got great coverage linebackers, and I think if they're able to shut down the run, especially if Carson Wentz is starting for the Vikings, then I think the Eagles have a very good chance of winning this football game. So Tim Reynolds Show is rolling with the Philadelphia Eagles here in this one. I think they'll get the win over the Minnesota Vikings in this one. I trust Jalen Hurts. I think this offense is going to start clicking here in this one, and I don't know if I trust Carson Wentz against this Philadelphia Eagles defense, and they're looking for a bounce back game here after 2 straight losses. So we'll see here, guys. Coming up next, we got the Carolina Panthers taking on the New York Jets. Carolina's only a 1.5-point favorite in this one. Like, what? what? Like, yeah, that's the way I feel about this, guys. Carolina needs to get a little bit more respect here, especially going up against a Jets team that had negative 10 passing yards last week against the Broncos and gave up 9 sacks. There's no way. Carolina should at least be a 3.5 point favorite in this matchup. As we're looking at the key injuries here for both teams, Damian Lewis, the guard there for Carolina, is questionable, and so is Evans, the cornerback. He's questionable, and then Chuba Hubbard is trying to get back with that calf injury, but hey, Rico Dowdle has been balling out in his absence, and now he's already top 5 in rushing yards this season after 3 starts. So an excellent performance. So Hubbard will make his way back as calmly as he will. But guys, for the New York Jets, Garrett Wilson is doubtful with the knee injury, and they have a lot of other questionable pieces on that defense. So the injury report pretty long for the New York Jets. And hey, especially when you haven't won a game this season, how many guys are really going to try to, sort of work through these injuries and go play on Sunday? So honestly, the injuries are what concern me, because I think the Jets could match up pretty well against this Carolina Panthers defense with the playmakers they have on offense, and especially with the way Justin Fields uses his legs. But guys, I am not rolling with the Jets. I just can't. I don't even know when I would pick the Jets, even in my pick 'em play game that I'm playing on ESPN's fantasy app, guys. Like, I don't even know. I don't know what week and what game I'm going to pick the New York Jets, to be honest with you, to win a game. And this could be one of those games that they could possibly win, the 3-3 Carolina Panthers. But guys, I gotta roll with the Carolina Panthers in this one. I think Bryce Young is starting to turn into a franchise QB. Rico Dowdle is balling right now, one of the best running backs in the league with the way he's running the football. And the defense is starting to play a little bit better for Carolina. So I just can't pick the Jets, guys. I can't. The Jets have been terrible this year. And honestly, I'm just wondering, when do they start selling off their pieces, trading guys, and maybe will they fire their head coach before the year is even over, especially if he goes 0-7, 0-8, 0-9. Like, it's going to be tough for the Jets, guys. But hey, I'm expecting the Carolina Panthers to get a win, and that would put them over 500 there. And then, guys, here on Tim Reynolds Show, next matchup, we got the New York Giants taking on the Denver Broncos. And guys, Denver comes in as a 7.5 point favorite in this one, and this defense is legit. We just got done talking about what they did to the New York Jets over there across the pond in London with 9 sacks, only giving up negative 10 passing yards in the whole game. This Denver defense is one of the best, if not the best, in the league. But guys, it's been their offense, with Bo Nix not really playing to his potential so far this year, especially when we see the numbers he's been putting up thus far. You would have thought in his second year in this offense, he would be a little bit better as of right now, with 1,200 passing yards, almost 1,300, 9 touchdown passes, and 4 interceptions this season. They've got to make sure they get Courtland Sutton worked in this offense a little bit more. He had a down game last week, even though they were able to pull off the victory. And J.K. Dobbins has been running the ball really good with 442 rushing yards this year, 4 touchdowns on the ground. They've got to keep feeding him the football and find a little bit more balance here on this offense, because Bo Nix, he's able to do his damage down the field with that play action game, and they're going to need a lot of that, and that's what they should be trying to do. Run the football, control the clock, and let your defense do your thing, because when you're able to sack the quarterback 9 times in one game, are you kidding me? Well, then you definitely got to lean on your defense no matter what game you're playing, and I think Denver's going to do that here. But they're going up against a New York Giants team that have found a spark in their running back in Cam Scadaboo, and also another rookie in their quarterback, Jackson Dart. He's using his feet a lot of times here to help with that pass protection, and because he's doing that, this is a dangerous offense here over the last couple of weeks. But the Giants have been so inconsistent, I don't know if I could roll with them here, just because they're coming in hot off of a big win against Philadelphia. They're also well rested, and they're going to be more rested than the Denver Broncos are, because they're coming back from overseas here, and they're playing in that high altitude there at Mile High Stadium for Denver. So this could play a big part here in this one, but the defense there for the Giants is what I'm concerned about in this one. I think if the Broncos are able to run the football, which they should be able to against this Giants defense, then they're going to not have a problem, I don't think, getting the win here, because I expect this Broncos defense to get maybe 6, maybe five, at least four sacks in this game with how bad the offensive line play has been for the New York Giants this season. So that's really the big matchup of this game. I think the defensive line versus the O-line of the Giants. I think the Broncos D-line is going to be able to dominate that matchup. So Tim Reynolds Show is predicting that the Denver Broncos get the victory at home against the New York Giants team. I definitely think Denver's looking to improve on their record, especially being undefeated at home right now. And this defense is one of the best in the league, ladies and gentlemen. So I think it's going to be legit. Thank you guys for hanging out on the channel, man. You guys are popping up the chat here. I appreciate y'all. What's going on, Rod? Hope you're doing good, man. Pats need to start Gabe at the house. Okay. What's going on, JK the Legend? Welcome back, man. What's your opinion on Billy Napier at Florida? Might he be fired this week? I don't know about this week, man. Gators are not normally known for firing coaches midway through the season, so I would think maybe by the end of the year they have like a contract negotiation where they get his buyout a little bit lower and get him out of there. Because I just don't know if Billy Napier is going to be the guy to take the Gators to the next level. But thank you to the chat, appreciate you, man. Oscar, what's going on, man? Welcome back to the chat. Clay says, "Raise the flags, baby! Let's go Buccaneers! Hell yeah!" And we gotta find out here. I am from Florida, man, but hope you're doing well. T Money, how you doing, man? He says Broncos are gonna win 34-9. A really, really good prediction there. T Money, hope you're doing good. Oh, look at that. We got someone from Polk County as well. Back near my hometown, too, man. All right, here we go, guys. So after I predicted the Broncos get the win over the New York Giants, up next, guys, we got the Indianapolis Colts, and they're taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. And this matchup is going to be very interesting, in my opinion, because these two teams are pretty evenly matched. But I think the injuries are what play a big part in this one, especially for the Chargers. Their defense has been beaten up this year, and this offense for Indianapolis has been on fire. Now, Indianapolis is dealing with a few injuries as well, especially after what we've seen happen in warm-ups last week. As we see, Tre'Davious Ward is questionable with a concussion injury. Kenny Moore, their other top cornerback, is questionable with an Achilles. And Joshua Downs is also questionable, one of their top wide receivers here in this one. And then for the Chargers, they got a lot of injuries as well, with Elijah Molden and questionable with a thumb injury, and then two linebackers as well questionable, along with two offensive guards or two offensive linemen, including offensive tackle Joe Alt, who's questionable with an ankle injury. So we got to keep an eye out on those for this, but both of these teams are pretty evenly matched. I think the Indianapolis Colts have the edge as far as the running game in this one, especially with Jonathan Taylor having a great season thus far here for the Indianapolis Colts. He's got 603 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns on the year. Taylor's looking like he's putting up a performance that could be worthy of the Offensive Player of the Year this year. So we'll have to see what happens. And the Chargers will get back Johnston, the wide receiver number 1 there, who's had a fantastic season with 377 receiving yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. But look out for Daniel Jones, Mr. Indiana Jones, to continue his thing here, because, hey, Tim Reynolds Show has got to roll with the Indianapolis Colts here in this one. I'm going with the upset and the road team here in this one. I think the defense has got way too many injuries for the Chargers, and I don't know how well they're going to be able to get to the quarterback here, especially with how well this Indianapolis Colts offensive line has been playing as of late. They're running the football at one of the best clips in the NFL right now, and I think they're going to be able to have some really good plays on defense to stop this Chargers offense. It's probably going to be high scoring. I probably would take the over on the 48.5 total here in this one, but I'm going to roll with the Indianapolis Colts in this one over the Chargers. And then up next, guys, we got the Washington Commanders taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Washington comes in as a 1.5 point favorite. It's a 54.5 point total in this one. I probably would take the under in this one because both these offenses, although they can be pretty high powered at times, I think the Commanders defense matches up pretty well against this Dallas Cowboys offense. And I know Dallas's defense has been terrible, but we've seen way too many mistakes with this Commanders offense this season. So I'm wondering how they're going to be able to clean that stuff up heading into this one one. But hey, if you're Washington, what way to bounce back but against a division rival with a defense that's the worst defense in the league? Let's face it, Dallas really needs some help on that defensive side of the ball this year if they want to be a contender, because right now Dak Prescott is playing out of his mind with the numbers he's putting up. He should be an MVP candidate, but with the record they have and how bad the defense is, they're not really giving him much credit. But how about Williams, the running back there for the Dallas Cowboys? He's got almost 500 yards rushing this year with 5 rushing touchdowns, and he's been used in the passing game a lot as well. And George Pickens, can't say enough about this guy. What a great trade here for the Dallas Cowboys to get this guy. He balled out in this past week's game, and I continue to see George Pickens getting a lot of money this upcoming offseason with the numbers he's putting up right now. 6 touchdown grabs with 525 receiving yards on 32 catches. So it's really going to be interesting to see what happens here in this matchup. I'm expecting Jaden Daniels to have a bounce back game. I don't expect the Washington Commanders to turn the ball over multiple times like we seen on Monday night against Chicago. And honestly, that was just a 1-point loss with all those mistakes. So with that said, and all the questionable injuries here for the Dallas Cowboys with Tyler Booker and Tyler Smith on the offensive line, CeeDee Lamb is still questionable to play this one, and so is Kayvon Turpin, their return specialist and speedster there on the offense. So for me, I gotta go with the Washington Commanders, guys. Now the Commanders have their own set of injuries as well to pay attention to and to worry about, but I just trust this defense a little bit more than I trust the Dallas Cowboys defense in this one. That doesn't mean Dallas can't pull off the upset. It probably wouldn't surprise me at all if Dallas ends up walking out with the victory in this one. But what's that really going to say about the Commanders going forward? I don't really think the Commanders want those type of questions in the building, and honestly, I expect them to get the victory here over the Dallas Cowboys, and that's my prediction here in this one on Tim Reynolds Show. And then up next, guys, we got the Green Bay Packers, and they're traveling to take on the Arizona Cardinals. This one's a 6.5-point favorite with a 44.5-point total. I'm expecting Jordan Love to continue his good gameplay this season as he's thrown for over 1,200 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, only 2 picks. He's got to make sure he secures the ball a little bit better. He's still a guy that fumbles too much at the quarterback position. But guys, Josh Jacobs is the guy who really steers this ship, if you will, for the Green Bay Packers. This guy, when he's able to run the ball efficiently and be the focal point of this offense, this team is almost unstoppable for the Green Bay Packers. And that defense is slowly but surely starting to get their feet underneath them. The young guys are starting to play a little bit better. Micah Parsons is starting to really find his spot there on that defensive line for the Green Bay Packers. But guys, Trey McBride has been a guy who's really balled out this season for the Arizona Cardinals. He's actually getting into the end zone. And what we've seen from backup quarterback Jacoby Brissett has me wondering, do we have a QB controversy here starting up in Arizona? Could we possibly see Brissett, the veteran, come in once again here with Kyler Murray questionable in this matchup, especially with the foot injury that he has? It might be better safe than sorry for the Cardinals to at least sit him out one more week, especially with Marvin Harrison Jr. questionable to play after he suffered a concussion last week. I'm not really expecting Harrison to be available in this matchup, so they might want to go with Jacoby Brissett. Now, Javonte Wicks is questionable for the Packers in this one. We do see Josh Jacobs popped up on the injury report with an illness, so maybe something to keep an eye out on there for the Packers. And Brandon McManus is also dealing with a quadriceps injury, so hopefully the kicker there for the Packers is okay and can be able to make this game. But guys, in this one, no one's really given Arizona a lot of chance. It's a 6.5-point favorite for the Packers in this one. And honestly, if Jacoby Brissett starts this game, I probably would take the Cardinals on the points, because honestly, I think 6.5 is way too much in this one, especially if Brissett starts. So honestly, I would take the Cardinals with the points, but I got to pick the Green Bay Packers in this one, guys, to get the win outright. I really do think the Packers are a team that should be a legit playoff contender in the NFC, so they need to squash the Cardinals here in this one to sort of assert their contendership this season, if you ask me. So I expect the Packers to get the win there, and that's my prediction here on Tim Reynolds Show. All right, what's going on, guys? Man, the chat's blowing up here a little bit. Let's get caught up. We got Jace Pods, what's going on, man? And Raz, what's going on, man? Tampa Bay all day, hell yeah. Mr. Elephant Gaming, what's going on, man? Lions over the Bucks, but only barely, says Mr. Elephant Gaming. Appreciate you, dude. And what's going on, William? Thank you guys for hanging out on the channel. Don't forget, guys, to hit that like button and subscribe to the show. All right, guys, and up next for Sunday Night Football, we got the Atlanta Falcons traveling to take on the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers open up as a 2.5-point favorite in this one, but guys, the injuries continue to be a problem for San Francisco. Brock Purdy is questionable to start this game at quarterback with a toe injury, but they will be without linebacker Fred Warner. Their all-pro linebacker is out for the rest of the season with an ankle injury that will require surgery. But for the Atlanta Falcons, they also got offensive tackle Jake Matthews questionable with an ankle injury in this one. And we also see Billy Bowman Jr., the standout safety, the rookie there, was missed last week, and he's also questionable for this week's matchup as well. And Javon Walker has a groin injury that will make him questionable as well in this matchup. Now for the 49ers, Mac Jones, who's expected to start, is also on the injury report dealing with a few injuries. Ricky Pearsall is still not practicing yet for the 49ers at the wide receiver position, and Jennings is on the injury report, although he is practicing in a limited fashion. So the injuries are starting to pile up here for San Francisco. But guys, in this matchup, I just think this San Francisco team has it. Mac Jones has been really, really good with this offense, and I think they're looking for a bounce back game here in this one. So honestly, when I look at the matchups here, this defense for Atlanta has really been stepping up their game over the last few weeks. They've been able to sack the quarterback a lot last week, and I expect them to be able to do the same here in this one. But with the way Shanahan likes to call their offense, I think they're going to have a game plan that would almost be similar from what we've seen from Atlanta this past weekend. So I'm expecting Christian McCaffrey to have a big game, and especially if tight end George Kittle comes back for this game, then my pick here would be the San Francisco 49ers for sure. I'm giving them the slight edge in this one because I just trust this offense a little bit more, although the playmakers are breaking out here for Atlanta with Drake London and Bijan Robinson looking like two at the best at their position, especially after their performances there last week. But I think that the home field advantage will play a big part here in this one, so I'm rolling with the San Francisco 49ers in this one, guys. Atlanta's a little bit of a kind of good and bad team from week to week. You don't really know what to expect from them. So honestly, I think San Francisco is just looking for a good bounce back win, and they'll be the home team here. So I'm giving them the advantage there on Sunday Night Football. And then, guys, we got the matchups there for Monday Night Football, including the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to take on the Detroit Lions there in the Motor City. And Detroit opens up as a 5.5-point favorite. I'm a little surprised to see this one favored as much in Detroit's favor, but this probably has to do with all the injuries, not only on the Buccaneers side, but also on Detroit's side of things, which is why I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup for both teams. The Buccaneers will be without wide receiver Emeka Ibuka. The standout rookie has been fabulous this year, but unfortunately, he suffered a hamstring injury and he might miss the next couple of weeks. Bucky Irving and wide receiver Chris Godwin are both doubtful in this game, but have pretty much been ruled out by their head coach. But a guy that may return and just in time for the Buccaneers offense is wide receiver Mike Evans. So we'll have to see how that looks by the time we get to Monday Night Football. And for the Detroit Lions, they're going to be without Brian Branch, who's suspended for this game, but also Kirby Joseph is questionable, and also DJ Reed, who missed last week's game, may be questionable for this one as well. Or yeah, I should say DJ Reed. And then also DJ Reader, the defensive tackle, is also questionable here for this one for the Detroit Lions. So got to look at the injury report for Detroit. A lot of guys on that injury report as well, just like the Buccaneers. So really in this matchup, it's going to be pretty even if you ask me, guys. I think the Lions are going to contend pretty well. I think it's going to be a close game, but I got to go with my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, baby. They're going to get the upset win in here, improve to 6-1, and if that happens, they're going to have no choice but to talk about us, ladies and gentlemen. I don't understand this, man. The Buccaneers are 5-1, and they're probably the least talked about 5-1 team on TV right now, on everywhere on there. It doesn't matter what channel. It honestly is. So for me, guys, I'm really looking forward to this matchup. It's going to be on Monday night in prime time at 7 o'clock. We're going to be calling the game here on Tim Reynolds Show with my live play-by-play, so it should be pretty excellent. Guys, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. So like I said, guys, I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the key matchup I'm really going to like in this one, I just think Baker Mayfield's playing on a whole nother level right now, and him going up against a secondary that's decimated by injuries, even with the receivers that we do have, I think the Buccaneers offense is going to be clicking and should be able to get the victory here. But how will this Buccaneers defense be able to hold off the high-powered Detroit Lions offense? That will be the question here of this game. So good luck to Detroit. And then last but not least, guys, we got the Houston Texans traveling to take on the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks open up as a 3.5-point favorite here in this one. Sam Darnold has been tremendous this season with over 1,500 passing yards, which is top 5 in the NFL this year, and 11 touchdown passes and only 3 picks. But JSN has been balling out with almost 700 rushing, or I should say 700 receiving yards this season with 3 touchdown passes. And over the last 2 weeks, JSN has really stepped up his game for the Seahawks. They look like a legit contender in this one. And for the Texans, I think they're still trying to find their way as a team, as an offense, and especially on defense. As we look here at the injury report here for both teams, not a bunch of injuries to note except for the Seattle Seahawks secondary. As we see Witherspoon and Woolen, both corners are questionable, and so is safety Julian Love. So that secondary could be a little beat up in this one, but I'm rolling with the Seattle Seahawks in this one, guys. I think this offense is a legit playoff contending offense, and the defense has been able to show at times that they're a legit top 15 defense this year, especially with the way they sacked the quarterback. So I'm thinking that offensive line trouble that Houston has had all year long, I think that's going to really be a big part of this one. I think the offensive line is not going to hold up for the Texans, and that's why Tim Reynolds Show is predicting the Seattle Seahawks get the victory there in that matchup. So thank you guys so much for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show for this live Week 7 picks and predictions for the 2025 NFL season. And guys, this preview is from Tim Reynolds Show, one of the most electrifying sports entertainment channels on YouTube today. This is Tim Reynolds Show. Now let's go. Peace out, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out here on the channel. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to me on YouTube, and guys, don't forget, we've got channel memberships now live on my YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go sign up for those if you're interested. If not, I hope to see you guys tonight for my live play-by-play for Thursday Night Football, where we will see the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. It's the battle of the 40-year-old plus QBs, baby. Or as Cameron Hayward calls it there for Pittsburgh, the Icy Hot Bowl, baby. It should be a good one. Hope to see you guys here on the live stream tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out on the channel. Peace out, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Don't forget to check us out with my live play-by-play for Thursday Night Football tonight on Tim Reynolds Show. Peace out, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see you guys next time here on the channel. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.